Hey there, welcome to the Agents of Revival podcast. If you're ready to be healed and take full accountability of your life by evolving into your best self, then this is the podcast for you. I am your host, Andrea Griffin Rogers, and I'll share with you winning steps as well as personal tips and anecdotes on how to go from brokenness to wholeness and from scattered pieces to inner peace. So come on in and join me on this healing journey, and let's become whole together. Enjoy it! Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the Agents of Revival podcast. How are you today? It's Valentine's Day, so I'm going to ask a question that I haven't asked in a little while. But how are you doing? How is that little girl or boy inside of you doing? You know, the childish version, the childlike version, that inner child part of you that you have neglected, that you've been ignoring. But it's days like today, especially if you have a date or you're with somebody where you're like giddy and you're, ooh, yay, you know. And you're just full of this, childlike joy because you got butterflies in your stomach and you're just seeing hearts and valentines and flowers and buttercups and roses all around you. But there's some people out there who don't have a date today, and that's okay. Baby, we in the same boat, so that's all right. But I want you to think about you. How are you doing? How's your heart? See, when I talk about the little girl or boy inside of you, I'm actually talking about the heart. Not the version of you that is adulting, that's, as some people want to say, getting a grown woman or grown man on because you become an adult and you're paying bills or you have your own place or you're just an adult. I mean, whatever it is, you got children, whatever it is. I'm not talking about that person, that version, because that version has become hardened by society, hardened, had to develop a tough shell to survive in this fallen, broken world. So I'm not talking about that version of you. Because we already know how you doing. Because if we ask that version of you how you doing, you're going to say, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm making it, can't complain. All the usual stuff people always say. But it's when you get into the depth, the deeper parts of a person. That's what I'm talking about today. How is that person doing? And a lot of times, on a scale from 1 to 10, most people may not even rate higher than a 5. Because that person has some issues. I don't mean that they're bad. I mean that there's some pain there. There's some hurt there. There's something that's bothering you, something that's frustrating you, something that's irritating you, something that you're anxious about, and you're not willing to deal with that. And even for those of you out there who have dates, it could be the same thing where, there's some area of your heart that you've been neglecting. And so we're going to talk about it today. It's time to learn about the Heart Guard Protection Plan. Oh, baby, I cracks my own self up. When I thought about this title, let me tell y'all, first of all, today's message, I went through so many titles for this message. I can't tell y'all how many. I just kept changing it and kept changing it because I didn't know how I wanted to address today, because I know this is a big day for some people and for others just a regular day. But it's Valentine's Day, and so I was like, okay, I want to talk about love today, but I want to talk about in a way where we still are in connection with the series for Vision, which is this entire season. We're going to talk about vision, but then also where we're addressing us. Because a lot of times we think about love and we think about relationships and we think about Valentine's Day, we're looking externally and we're waiting for others to be our Valentine. This saying that we've always heard in culture, can you be my Valentine? But this time be your own Valentine, okay? And I'm not just saying this because I see somebody out there like, she only saying that because she's single. Baby, let me tell you something. I've been enjoying my single season. Can't complain. Why? Because I've learned more about myself being single than I ever knew being in a relationship. which then makes me more effective when the next relationship comes, because I better know myself, or I know myself better, than I ever did. A lot of times we're looking for people to make us happy. That's external. But internally, you're supposed to be making your own self happy. And if you don't even know what makes you happy, then how do you expect somebody else to know what's going to make you happy? If you don't know how to articulate your needs and wants and concerns, how do you expect somebody else to know? People are not mind readers. And yes, somebody can possibly try to anticipate your needs, but why? I mean, that's a lot of work. I'm being honest. That's a lot of work to try to anticipate what you're going to need, what you're going to want, what you're going to say, what's going to make you happy, how you're thinking. That's a lot of work. And every person out here in this world has their own journey, their own path, their own trials and tribulations, ups and downs to face themselves every single day. And so then to think about what's going to make you happy, that's a lot of work, baby. So you got to start guarding your own heart. You got to start coming up with your own protection plan. And it's not, as I talked about before, if you missed this episode, go check it out. The episode that's Adaptive Flow. It is not about pointing the fingers at other people, or again, making them the sole proprietor for your happiness. It is your job. You are your own business. And so if you want your business to succeed, then you got to tend to your business. You can't put it in somebody else's hands, especially if you've never laid the groundwork. And if you've never laid the groundwork to even develop a business plan or anything like that, and you give it to somebody else and then be like, hey, tend to the business, they're going to do whatever they want to do with it. Because you never laid the groundwork. You never gave them the business plan of how you want it done. You never did anything. You never gave them any work. And so a lot of times we have people who are in relationships and you are frustrated at how you're being treated, or you feel like you're not being valued in the relationship, or you're expecting this person to be your all in all, to be your joy, to be your happiness, to celebrate you when you want to celebrate or whatever, or hold you when you need to be held. But if you don't open your mouth and articulate what you need, how is somebody going to know what you need? I don't teach anything that I have not developed and went through myself. So I'm not telling you something that I read in a book. Even though, yes, I have a degree in psychology. But I'm telling you things that I've learned on my journey of life. I used to be the person in relationships. And, I thought I said enough. And I realized in my single season, men and women think very differently. And I hear some of my fellas out there like, yes, finally somebody said it. Yes, men and women think very differently. And I had to learn that in my single season, because when I was in relationships and dating, I didn't know that. And I would feel like I articulated myself and I articulated what I wanted and what I needed. And what they heard was very different. And what they did was very different. And it was just like, how are you not getting this? Like, how are we keep missing each other? And sometimes it's because women, we tend to speak a lot with our feelings, and we're not very direct with it. And what I mean by that, I feel like someone will be like, I'm direct. I don't mean nasty. Okay. Check your tone, check your tune. Because a lot of times people think they're being direct, and you're actually being arrogant. You're actually being rude. That's not being direct. That's being rude. That's being obnoxious. So we got to call a spade a spade. But when I'm saying like be direct is, for example, I learned this in my language class. So I've been taking Portuguese. And so on the breakdown on the app that I use, they will have a man and a woman have a dialogue, and you have to try to articulate the dialogue. And so the man may say, what's the ingredients that you need from the store, for example? Like, I'm going to the supermarket. What do you need from the store? The woman may go into, Well, I feel like I want some ice cream, and I was thinking I also may want some chocolates, since it is Valentine's Day. And oh, what would be good? I was looking for it's something about that particular season, and it got like pineapple or something in it, and it was really good when I ate it on this. And so I kind of want that too, because I'm gonna probably make a dinner. And then I want some and then I want some water or something. And I might need. I think I got a little bit of flour left, so um, I might need flour. I don't know. And so that'll be what the ingredients are, right? So the woman feels like she made herself very clear. I need flour because I only have a little bit. I'm gonna make a meal, so I'm expecting you to either pick out food items that you want me to cook, or tell me. I feel like I hear some men now, like, what? Where was that said at? I'm breaking it down for you. I told you I'm making some food. And so your job, granted, it really wasn't your job, but a woman's thinking is your job was to uh either tell me what you want me to cook if I don't have the ingredients in the house, or pick up what you want so that I can cook it when you get home. Not to mention the seasoning. I'm telling you, it got pineapple in it, and I think, I'm not sure the name of it. Most men are going to go into the store and going to look for pineapple. Because you said pineapple, so they figure, well, I'll just bring a pineapple home. And you like, I said the seasoning. That ain't what I want. Well, you didn't tell me the name of the seasoning. You didn't tell me what aisle to be in. You weren't as direct as you thought you were. You didn't say get flour, but I told you I only had a little bit of flour left. Okay, I'm supposed to assume that you needed flour because you said you had a little bit left. Well, you had a little bit left. That meant you had what you needed. If you needed flour, you should have said I needed flour. Uh, oh, I'm just laughing, baby, because I hear my fellas out there, and I hear my ladies out there too. But yeah, so we think that we're being very direct in terms of what we want, but a lot of times we're not. Even when we say we want chocolate, now he may bring home chocolate, but you actually want a chocolate covered strawberries, but you didn't say that. You said you had a feeling for chocolate covered strawberries. That didn't mean that that's actually what you wanted. And there's some men that will look at that and just totally bypass that, because again, you didn't ask for exactly what you wanted. I want chocolate covered strawberries. You didn't state that. You just said, I kind of feel like I do want it. Okay, well, when you actually make up your mind, then you're going to let the person know. And so we speak differently. We understand each other differently. And what I've learned in my single season is, to make a long story short, you got to be direct. You got to learn how to articulate yourself. And that includes your feelings. And ladies, a lot of times we want things from our partners, but you're not telling what you want. And what I've come to learn on my journey is because we don't really know what we need. We think we know based on external factors. And what I mean by that, I mean based on what we've seen on TV, based on somebody else's relationship that we saw online, based on all these other things. And so you're like, okay, I want this. But is that really what you want? I know, because I've dated before. I've had relationships before. And I would say I want certain things, and I would get it and not be satisfied. And it was like, no, I want this. And it's like, okay, but that's what I gave you. Or this is who I am. I thought this is what you wanted. This is what you prayed for. This is what you asked for. This is what you asked God for. And then the person show up, and it's like, no, this ain't what I want. Like, I'll give you an example, because I feel like some people may need an example. Okay, I'll give you an example. When one of my relationships I had, I was like, I've always knew I wanted a man that was successful and that owned their own business. They had a college degree, because that was the path that I'm taking. So we're supposed to be equally yoked. Because I've always been thinking about marriage since I was a little girl. I always knew that was the trajectory of my life, was the one to become married. So anybody I dated, that was my mindset of like, what is your intentions towards marriage? Because this is what I want. And so I was like, okay, great. for this one particular example, because I've had several, get this guy, successful in his business. He has his own business, has, of course, money and all that other stuff, education, degrees, whatnot. Okay, great. But then what I didn't ask for, because I couldn't articulate that at the time, that then became a clash, was because when we, let's say, for example, had our first date, I said what I wanted. Well, that person met the criteria in terms of success, education, status. Okay. And financial security. But what I really needed was somebody who was supportive. What I really needed was somebody who had time for me. What I really needed was somebody who was family oriented. This person thought family oriented meant wanting kids. And since they had kids, it was like, okay, well, I mean, I'm down with that. Like, we could, when that time comes, we can have kids, we can have more kids, that's fine. No, what I was wanting in terms of family oriented meant that you spend time with me and the family together and we do stuff together as a family. That meant, like, because my family is really big and I'm always having family gatherings and family game nights and cookouts and dinner parties and whatnot. That's just how my family is. So that's what I meant. That's not what I got. And so I realized, like, oh, I'm wanting something I'm not getting, but I did get some of the criteria. And so when I started to address the disconnect, and it wasn't with that person, I had to look at myself and realize. And then, eventually I wound up having the conversation with several ex-boyfriends over my healing journey. And this is something that I did for me. I would not say for any of y'all to do this, but I just did it for me because I was in a place where I could have a conversation. And one of the things that almost all of them said was, I never knew what you needed. And you always seem like you didn't need nothing. And now for me, y'all, I'm like, I done told you what I needed and I done articulated it, but so I thought. And then I had to realize, oh, well, one of my patterns, as I talked about yesterday, one of my patterns is if you're not giving me something that I want, I'm going to make it happen myself. And how many ladies are out there where you're like that, where you're like, listen, if he ain't doing it, I'm going to do it. Yeah, but what you teach the man is that you don't need him because you may have asked him to do it, but since you didn't wait for him to do it or give him a timeline as to when you need it done, and you did it, then it made him feel like you didn't need him. And so when I looked at, again, my patterns and realized, wow, I developed a system to guard my own heart. And one of it was putting up healthy boundaries. You cannot expect people to honor your standards if you don't know your own standards. And a lot of times people hear that word standards and they think in terms of physical. Oh, well, my standard is he got to be such and such height or she got to be such and such build. And just like I said, education and financial security and all these things. And it's not to say those things aren't wrong or that they're bad. But if that's your standard, that's what you're praying for, don't be surprised if that's what you get and that's what you attract. But it's not until you do a deeper look into the inner child, so to speak, of your heart to see what am I really craving? Like what is my actual desire? What do I really want? Then you're able to set up healthy boundaries. A lot of people don't know what they want. They don't know what they need because they've never taken time to just spend time with themselves, to see their likes and don't likes. Most people, if you ask them what they like or don't like, it's always external. Or it's always other things that has nothing to do with themselves. One thing I can tell you that I did not like by myself, and I gave this example the other day, was that I'm working on, is that because of the way I work, like my work ethic, I make detailed notes. I'm very detail oriented, but it's on my computer and it's in my mind and it's in my notebook. However, when working with a team, you can't just have that all to yourself and expect your team to know what to do. And so I had to realize the other day, like, oh, when, you know, it was kind of brought up of like, okay, well, you didn't articulate that to us. And it's like, oh, right, I didn't. My bad. Like, I should have told you this, and I didn't. And so I had to realize that's me. I got to deal with that. I have to work on that pattern that has been functioning, even as I said in relationships, functioning in terms of, okay, if you ain't gonna do that, I'm gonna get it done. But they can't get it done because they didn't know what I wanted. I didn't address it. I didn't say anything. I wrote it down in my notes. They can't see my notes. So I had to realize, oh, okay, I need to open up more to share with you my thoughts because I'm used to keeping them to myself. You know, another thing in relationships that I want to talk about when it comes to Heart Guard Protection Plan, and I'll give you some pointers in a minute, is that do you know, actually, I'll give them to you right now because I'm about to get a little bit into this. One of the things is identify the areas you need to change in, as I just said for me. Identify the areas. I'm still identifying areas that I need to grow and develop in terms of a leader, but which is a different type of relationship. But in terms of my single season, since we're talking about Valentine's Day, most people, want to talk about relationships. I had to address my genuine areas of need, and then I had to look at what areas of need can I tend to. As I said earlier, you can't say, well, I need somebody to make me happy. That's not anybody's job but yourself. So you need to find out what makes you happy. And a lot of people's responses is, I don't know. I know because I was there. I used to say that. I don't know. So then how you expect me to know what to make you happy? I had to realize, you know what? Okay. What do I enjoy every day? But again, it came in my single season. One of the things that I enjoy every day is music time. I enjoy listening to my music. I don't care if I'm cooking, cleaning, working out, driving somewhere, doing work, whatever. I enjoy just zoning out to my music and dancing. If I can't dance physically, I'm dancing in my head. That is my enjoyment time. Another enjoyment time that I have is I like to read. I like time to myself to think of my thoughts. This is time that's me time. I don't want to talk. I don't want nobody notifying my phone. I don't want to be disturbed. I need me time to just tend to myself, tend to my thoughts, paint my nails if I want to, twirl my hair if I want to, read a book, whatever it is. I need me time. Being single, I realized that is beneficial for relationships. So I'm not just telling you this stuff because of single people, because I know there may be people that are married or in relationships that listen to this. So I'm just giving you ideas to start thinking about for yourself. One of the things that I realized was, what do I need in the morning when I first wake up? Now, most people response may be coffee or breakfast or whatever. And, I love breakfast in the morning as well. But I realized that wasn't a need. Like, I get it. Yes, our bodies need food, but you also can go on a fast. So I've learned from fasting in the past that that's not a need. What I needed in the morning was my time with my God. I needed time in the morning to read my Bible. I needed time in the morning to pray. I needed time in the morning to listen to my music and just gather my thoughts. And then I will go to the gym. But it's still all me time. That's what I need in the morning before I am disturbed by anybody's problems or anybody's issues or anybody wanting my attention. That's what I need in the morning. And me doing that and tending to me makes me happy. It makes me feel of joy and peace. And not only am I saying that for me, but people around me have seen it and they've said it to me. Which is, on days when I take my break I take every week a break from going to the gym as my 7th day of rest. And some people be like, why ain't you go to the gym today? I know it makes you happy. Because they seen it. And it's like, oh no, I'm still happy. I'm just taking a break today. I'm going to get back to the gym tomorrow. Today's a break. And it's like, oh, okay. But what do you need? Have you taken time to really analyze your own heart posture. Some people don't even know that they are angry or upset about something. And then when somebody asks them, like, what's wrong? And they're like, nothing's wrong. Baby, it's written all over your face and it's in your tone. Something is bothering you that you either don't want to address or don't know how to address. And when you say, I'm fine or nothing's wrong, it's actually really something. Because I've noticed that in my counseling sessions that I've had, every time I've mentored somebody and I ask them first, like, hey, how are you doing? They'll say, I'm fine, I'm good. But if I stay on that phone long enough, or I stay, in their presence long enough, eventually they start pouring out what's bothering them. And so it's like, it's time to be authentic with you. Who are you lying to? Because you may think you're lying to me, or you hiding what me or whoever is in your life, you're hiding what you're dealing with, but you're really hiding it from yourself. You're suppressing it. You're burying it. It's not helping nobody. And so, like I said, number one is identify the areas you need to change in. Identify your habits and your patterns in order to address the real problems. Number two, learn who you are better. Because a lot of us will say that up to the point of however age you are, that you think you know you. But there's room for improvement. I promise you, there's still room for you to evolve. And so you can learn who you are better. How do you like to be treated? How do you talk to yourself? What do you actually like or don't like? What do you need to be happy? What satisfies you? What areas you need to grow in? How have you grown thus far? Yeah. Most people will respond to that question and be like, oh, I've grown in age, or, I got some gray hairs, or again, that's about the superficial. Can you even identify how you have grown between last year, 2023, February, Valentine's Day, and 2024, Valentine's Day? This is why it's important to check in with the inner you and develop the inner you. Strengthen the inner you, because that's going to ultimately make you better externally. And that will also allow you to have better relationships with other people. And the last one is develop healthy boundaries. A lot of people think that healthy boundaries are things that offended them in the past. And so they've set up this barrier. It's not really a boundary. It's a barrier that says, I was hurt like this before. It would never happen again. And so I'm going to look for the signs so that I'm never, no. Because when you're operating from a healed place, you are able to maneuver relationships as if you've never been hurt before. And how you do that is learning to let go of expectations and offenses quickly. You've heard me say about this before if you've been following a podcast every day. An adaptive flow. You got to learn how to let go of expectations and offenses quickly. You got to learn how to extend grace. Because each person that you encounter is facing their own battles. It's not personal. It's spiritual. There's something spiritually that they're dealing with, that they're struggling with. That's an internal thing. It has nothing to do with you. And so even if somebody lashed out at you, or your significant other today forgot Valentine's Day or whatever, it's not personal. You're taking it personal, thinking that they don't care about you, they don't love you, they don't appreciate you, this, that, and the other. No, it's that they have their own things going on in their own mind, in their own lives, things they probably didn't even share with you. They're trying to figure themselves out as well while trying to be in a relationship with you. And you're mad because they didn't do this or that. No. When you are operating from a healed, healthy, whole place, you're able to extend grace to others because you understand what it's like. Because you've taken time to recognize your shortcomings, your healthy flaws, and even some of your unhealthy flaws that you had to work on. And you're able to see that in others, and instead of pointing it out at them and praying on them, PREYING on them, you pray for them, PRAY. So that they can become better, so that they can themselves learn to address the areas that they need to address in, so that they can become better. And when you set up healthy boundaries, it is in line or in tune with areas that you know are good for you. You're helping to set up these healthy habits, these standards and practices that are good for you. So that, for example, when I start dating again, one of the things that will be asked is like, what do you like to do that you enjoy doing? I don't have to say this like over the top answer or just pull something out the hat that I've seen somebody do on social media. I can say, you know what I genuinely enjoy doing is my time. I like to have my own moments because most of my day is tending to other people. And so I enjoy me time. And in that me time, I do X, Y, and Z. And okay, well, when is that? Because that may be the next follow-up question. And I'm able to say, first thing in the morning. I typically wake up between 3 and 5 a.m. So I would say the earliest between that time and 9 a.m. is my time. Anytime after that, it is what it is. But if you're asking me when is like my time, me time that I enjoy for myself, it's typically between that time. Because I'm at the gym by 5 and I'm sometimes at the gym by 7. So you got to get home and you got to, shower and change and all that stuff. So it might be earlier as 8, but the latest might be 9 o'clock a.m. And then after that, hey, the rest of the day is tending to anybody and everybody else. But that is my time. And you only learn that when you've taken time to know and learn yourself better, to identify the areas you need to change in, and to develop healthy boundaries. And when you do that, you're able to have better relationships with other people because you have a standard that you are able to articulate clearly to them, and they're able to abide by that. So I hope that this, gave you guys at least some ideas to help you safeguard, your heart, gave you this little protection plan that I've utilized for myself. But again, I want to make this clear. You got to start doing the work. You can't just take some of the things that I shared with you and then start applying them if you haven't taken time to identify your areas of need. If you haven't taken time to know yourself better and love yourself better. Because only when you know yourself and love yourself, you're able to love others and you're able to teach others how to love you better. But people aren't mind readers. And so make sure you're setting up healthy boundaries. Guard your heart, for everything flows from it. All right, y'all, we got to get out of here. We is overtime. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. Cause his face shine upon you. May the Lord God be gracious to you. Show you his favor and give you shalom, give you his peace. Take care. Love you guys. Enjoy your Valentine's Day in whatever capacity that is for you, whether you are single or not single, whatever it is. Enjoy today. Make it a good day. Don't just let today happen to you. Make it a good day by being intentional and disciplined to enjoy your day. And that means whatever comes, you still operate in a place of perfect peace because you do not let it bother you, the external factors, because internally your heart should be at peace. All right. Bye now.